Hi everyone, this is Luca, Crystal Moore Healing, and today I'm going to be talking about distant healing and to help hopefully you to understand a little bit more about it and how you can help other people as well. I'm going to be using some of my crystals to show you how you can help other people to also understand this. So we all know that recently many healers have had to use more of this technique. In the past, I can see a lot of people used to always just have clients coming to see them and laying down and just doing the regular hands-on Reiki. Nowadays, because of restrictions and various different problems to get people to the practitioner, a lot of practitioners have actually offered mostly distant healing, and that has actually opened a lot of opportunities for them. And in some ways, maybe opened some of the healers to a different level within that from a healing point of view. If you speak to most healers, they will tell you that distant healing is exactly the same as regular healing, where you'll be sending the energy and the person receiving the energy will be somewhere else entirely. Could be the other side of the world, and the healing is exactly the same. It will work exactly the same. So that might be difficult for some people to understand, but if you work with energy, then you'll be able to tell the difference if there was a difference. But as you're doing the healing, person face to face or distant, the healer can perceive that there is no difference there. So I'm gonna show you how you can help people to understand that. And to do that, I'm gonna talk about a friend of mine. She's a healer herself. She's a reflexologist. She does massages. So for her, it's very much hands-on healing on people, and she's very good at it. She loves it. She's very open to trying new things, which is why she was very happy to try the Reiki with me, and she very much enjoyed the experience. And she said to me, Luca, I want to talk to all my clients about the Reiki, and I do, but when they ask me about distant healing, I really don't know what to say. And for me, it's difficult to explain this because I've never felt it before. And I said, absolutely no problem. Let's try if you want to try. And so we did. And uh, one thing she said, and she was very honest, she said, Luca, I do feel the healing, but not as much as if I was in person. And I thought, that's absolutely fine. Don't worry. I know it works exactly the same. You might not perceive it that way, but the methods I've used, the process I went through was exactly the same on purpose to make sure that she could understand this difference if for herself. So I said to her, look, why don't we try and I will show you that there is no difference. And she said, oh, how are you going to do this? So I got hold of some of my crystals. I picked a few, but all you need is just one crystal. I'm gonna show you the ones that I've got here. I've got a clear quartz, just as a pointer. I would say it should be a pointer, and you will see in a minute why. Citrine, just a beautiful little citrine. You can have amethyst, again another pointer. I do have some Libyan desert glass, and I like this because it goes from quite large to a point, so all the energy is channeled to one point. And the one that for me I found to be the absolute strongest, this Herkimer diamond. Tiny but incredibly powerful. So obviously doing this with someone, my view of doing this experiment with someone is to help them expand their understanding, So not to show that I can do things that other people might not yet be able to do or might not understand, but purely for the journey of the person in front of me, for them to understand more about energy and ultimately for their journey. So it is for that for service to the person in front of you. So what I did, for the purpose of this, I'm just going to use probably the one that is most common for most people. And this is just a clear quartz pointer. So what I did is I've asked my friend to, she was sat in front of me, and I've just asked her to put her hand up, just like this. And I've simply pointed the crystal to the palm of our hand. And for those who use crystals, they would know that you would expect there will be a beam of energy that is coming out of the point of the crystal. And if you point that to the palm of the hand, the person that obviously is receiving this beam of energy, of light, would feel perhaps some tingling, perhaps some pressure on their hand. The hand is quite a sensitive area, so there's quite a high chance that that person will feel that, which is why I think that's a good place to point it at. Generally, I've done this a few times, so generally people say, oh, I can feel something. It might not be exactly in the middle of the hand, but it might be sort of around the palm of the hand, and they will say, oh yes, I feel something. And generally, for most people, this is where it stops. They might stretch the thought of, yes, there's some energy coming out of this, and that's as far as it goes. Okay, so then I asked my friend to close her eyes. And for some people, that's it, that they will not close their eyes. And that's fine. If they're not ready to trust and see what happens next, that's absolutely fine. We just accept that, and hopefully they'll be back and try that when they're ready for it. But if they do close their eyes, then absolutely fantastic. So I've asked my friend to close her eyes, and when I've done that, when she's done that, I simply moved the crystal away from her hand. So it's not in line anymore, it's on the side. But I was focusing on the energy of the crystal, asking the crystal to still point in that same place on the hand. Okay, and then I asked, "Can you still feel the energy?" And she said yes. So then I've asked her to open her eyes, and when she opened her eyes, she saw that my hand was not pointing at her hand anymore. So she thought, oh, that's strange. Before she could say anything else, I said, okay, would you like to close your eyes again? So at that point, she was a bit surprised I asked that again, but she closed her eyes. And then this time, without her realizing, I put the crystal down. I put the crystal down, but keep my hand put my hand back on the side where the crystal was, where it was before. And then I asked her to open her eyes. And then when she saw that I had no crystal, but she could still feel the energy there, because my focus was on sending that energy from the crystal there to the palm of her hand, she opened her eyes, so there was no crystal on my hand and that the crystal was on the table. Again, that made her question things even more. And then I asked her once more to close her eyes, and this time I simply didn't have my hand anywhere. I just kept my hand here, but again I focused, asking the crystal to send the same energy here in the same place on the hand. And I asked her one more time, can you still feel the energy there on your hand? And she said yes. And I said, okay, open your eyes. And she could feel still the energy, and she saw that I had no hand and the crystal was still here on the table, but she could still feel that energy. So I said to her, this is exactly how it works. It works on the intention of the healer. Once they connect with that energy and they learn how to use it, then it doesn't matter. It's all to do with your intention. And at that moment, it was like a light bulb for her, because she could actually feel it, she could understand it, and she was actually able to relate to it in a simple example. So what happened after that? Nothing else. I didn't ask her, did you want to do another healing and try that again? I just waited and just let her process that information for herself. It was probably a couple of months later where my wife said, oh, she's feeling terrible. I've just been on the phone to her and she can hardly talk. So I said, okay, let me give her a ring and see if she's okay. So I gave her a ring and she said, oh, I've been feeling terrible for the past 3 weeks. Terrible chest pain. I've not been at work for the past few days. And she was hardly able to talk. She said the doctor gave her some syrups to take, which she did. And she said it's just not getting any better. And I said, look, you don't want to get out of bed right now. Stay at home in the comfort of your home. And that's one of the good things about distant healing, is the fact that you can be anywhere. Most people like it because they can be in the comfort of their own bed, in their own home, not traveling anywhere, and receiving the same level of healing. And that's exactly what happened. So I offered it, and she said, yes, please. I feel so unwell that I can't make the journey to see you. And that's fine. So that evening I did exactly the same as the previous times. And she had quite a significant block here on her chest. And once that was clear, her body was able to heal. Her body healed itself. So that was fantastic. The morning after, she went to work. She was absolutely fine. I spoke to her on the phone, and she said that it was, just as divine as it was when, in a therapy bed in front of the healer. And for me, what's changed there? I think actually I didn't change my methods. I did exactly the same on purpose, and I think out of this she understood that her way of thinking perhaps might have limited what she could feel, and when she was actually open to receive the energy as it was sent, without analyzing it, without thinking too much, without in her mind saying, oh, I'm not used to this can't be right. When she dropped all of that and she really let go and was fully open to that idea, that's when she was really feeling the healing. And that's why when I did that exercise with Crystal, that's why I asked her to close her eyes, because when we close our eyes we switch off the monkey mind, and we can pay more attention to our body, because our body is so sensitive. When we listen to our body, then we get a lot more information than just with our eyes open. Okay, so that's my little trick. Feel free, obviously, to use this, like I said, for the good of the person in front of you. And as I'm doing this video, quite happy to share how I connect with crystals. I don't normally get a crystal and then simply start working on it. I like to connect with the crystal and ask for permission, because even though the crystal really comes to us, chooses us, we still need to I believe. Make sure that we've got that bond and that mutual connection. It will be like me picking up this crystal and say, now heal me, heal this emotion, heal this particular part of my body. But and from this crystal point of view, you might say, you've not asked. It might say, you've just picked me up and asked me to do something and told me to do something, but I might do it because I'm incredibly loving, but maybe not in the same way. So what I find is that every time I get a crystal, first thing I do, I hold this crystal on my palm, and then I imagine my third eye connecting. You can do that with your eyes closed. It's almost like you've got a string that connects your third eye to the crystal, and you feel it if you move your hand. It's more like it's that stream of energy connecting your third eye to that crystal. And as you are in that state, you might see the energy of the crystal might talk to you, might actually start working on you, you might have visions, all sorts of things once you really close your eyes and connect. But what happens normally, I ask for permission to connect with the crystal, and you would know if it's a yes or a no. You just have to trust your heart. If you do this with an open heart, you're almost always gonna be a yes. It will be a yes. And once you've asked for permission and they said yes, then at that point ask if that crystal can work with you. And then once you've got that bond stays there forever. So when I go out, if I cut myself, for instance, or if something happens, all I have to do is think about that particular crystal, and if I want that crystal to work on me on that place, for instance, I've cut my hand, I just think of that crystal and I ask that crystal, now that I know I've got that bond with that particular crystal, I ask that crystal to work on that area. And it happens. I could be absolutely anywhere, but because we've got that connection, we can call that anytime, anywhere. So I hope that's helped. If you know of any other crystal that would be really good as a pointer, please let me know. And if you've got some experiences yourself helping people with distant healing, or anything you want to share, please leave it in the comments. Thank you.